Hey Knights! If you just started fishing for pike and are looking for some great lures to fill your tackle boxes with, then this is an episode for you. We have selected 10 really great lures if you just started fishing for pike. We have selected these by taking out my own favorites, but also asking my followers on Instagram which lure they think is the absolute best. At the end of this episode, I thought we would look at the lure that received the most votes. Let's get started. The first lure I thought we should look at comes from Savage Gear and is their Deviator swim. This is a so-called swim bait, which is a lure type that is very good if you're new to fishing. All you need to do with these lures is cast them out and reel them in, and they have a great action of their own. The size that we recommend for this lure are either 10.5 cm weighing 35 grams or 12.5 cm weighing 50 grams.
Ja, jävlar.
Another swim bait that we really enjoy fishing with comes from Sportfishtackle and is their Scout Swimmer. The version that we like the best is 12.5 cm and comes in either a shallow version that runs perfect over weed beds or a slow sinking version that sinks a bit faster if you enjoy fishing a little bit deeper. A type of lure that is very effective to fish with is so-called soft baits or jigs. What can be difficult when you're new to fishing is rigging these with stingers, extra hooks, jig heads and so on. But here is a lure from Rapala called Peto, which is a good option if you want to start with something a bit easier but still has the nice action of a soft bait. This is a kind of hybrid lure where the front part is made of hard plastic and the back part is made of soft plastic. The action of this lure is very similar to a soft bait, but you don't have to worry about attaching the stinger and so on, as the hooks and weight are already at place when you take it out. What you might need to do is put a small weight on the loop in front of the lure if you want it to run a bit deeper. If you're fishing in places with a lot of vegetation such as grass or reeds, there is another lure from Rapala that we like to use, and that's the Minnow spoon. This is a weedless lure that has a wire that protects the hook from getting snagged. A lure that casts very well and gives a lot of strikes, making it excellent if you're new to fishing or if you're fishing from the bank. Another lure type that is very good for fishing in tough conditions is so-called spinnerbaits. These lures have a frame where one side has blades and the other side has a hook or hooks. These can be fished through very thick vegetation without getting snagged. An extremely effective lure type to use that also gives very hard strikes. One thing that can be a bit tricky is choosing the right color for your lures. I like to keep it simple. The first lure I almost always bring is a natural colored one, something like a dirty roach. It works in most waters and in most conditions. Then I make sure to have a lure that stands out a bit more, like a fire tiger, especially if the water is murky or the visibility is low. If you have one natural lure and one more colorful, you're off to a great start. When starting to fish for pike, it is quite common to start from the bank, and here it can be good to look for lures that cast very well. One of these is the Salmo Slider, a lure that comes in several sizes, just like many other lures we've talked about. But the version we recommend starting with is 10 cm. It comes in two actions, floating, which runs shallower, or sinking, which runs a little bit deeper. Another lure that casts very well comes from Daiwa and is their Lazy Jerk in 12 cm, a lure that weighs 40 grams and one that we very often use when fishing from the bank. They also come in bigger sizes if you're in that type of mood, so Daiwa has something for everyone. If you have any lures that you think are great for beginners to pike fishing, please share them in the comments of this video. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. A lure type that can be very effective if you're fishing in summer is so-called topwater lures. Here we have a clear favorite in the Wiggbuzz Buzzer, a very light lure weighing only 22 grams, so you don't need heavy equipment to fish with it. All you do with these is cast them out and reel them in fast enough so they run along the surface. A fun thing about this type of topwater lures is that you can get what's called wakes behind them. These are movements in the water where you can see a pike coming like torpedoes towards the lure, which is extremely addictive.
Jävlar, shit vilken gädda! Det här är en riktigt fin.
9-8 med
102, så den väger väl strax över 112 centimeter. Nej, vad var det? 111 centimeter.
Riktigt fin.
Riktigt fint. A classic lure that I think most should have in their tackle box is the Atom from Garcia. This is a spoon lure that has been around for more than 80 years and continues to deliver fish after fish. It comes in a variety of weights, but the one we use the most weighs 35 grams. A lure that has many advantages if you're new to fishing, because it's very cheap, durable and easy to use. The lure that got the most votes from my Instagram followers is the Westin Swim. A classic swim bait, just like the other lures in this category we talked about, and it's incredibly easy to fish with. All you really need to do is cast it out and reel it in at different speeds, and the strikes almost come automatically. The sizes we like to fish are 10 or 12 centimeters. It's a lure many fishing guides use when they take beginners out on the water, simply because it's so effective and easy to handle. Thank you for watching this episode. These were our top 10 beginner lures for pike fishing. If you want to see another list, feel free to tell us in the comments what you'd like us to cover next. As always, stay safe, take care of the fish, and hopefully, I'll see you next time.
Oh shit. Jävlar vilken dugg. Åh jävlar. Oh. Alltså va? Jäklar vad fin.